What's up, everyone? Here's another episode of Street Topics, and today we're going to talk about Take the Knee. So that this is a highly debatable topic. We're going to be looking at both sides real quick, and hopefully at the end of this we can all come together. So you know what? Stay tuned.
1, 2, 3, hit it! Watch me! Watch me! I got it! Watch me! I got it! Hey! I got soul and I'm super bad. I got soul and I'm super bad.
Welcome back to this episode of Street Topics, and we're going to be hitting on taking the knee, the highly controversial topic that's going on. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible and try to address both sides. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start off with, of course, the African American side real quick because, I can mostly relate to them, but I'm also going to relate to the other side as well to make it a fair debate and, make it all fair so we can hopefully understand each other at the end of the day. Now, when it comes to this, with Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, he's making a stand from my opinion. I'm just saying my opinion, you have the right to yours, fighting against injustice that's going on to America. As you can pretty much tell, like in the previous years, there's been a lot of police brutality. People believe that police are being aggressive on different kind of things like that. So what this NFL player decided to do was to use his First Amendment to freedom of speech to pretty much protest during the national anthem. Now with that, he's try to use a major platforms to the NFL to grab attention, which he strongly has with the support and as well as criticism as well. But what he's standing for is for injustice. If you do research of our past history, especially for African Americans, we have came a long way from slavery, pretty much being used as property and things like that. So when topics like this comes up, especially with police brutality and the past events like the Panthers and much more of how families were just abused, and we did pretty much what we could just protect our family and friends, because at those crucial times, it was just you had to do what you had to do. And I feel like there's a lot of, misquotes or, not enough information to be put out there, or has been really pushed out there into the mass media so they can understand the African American side of it. Because that's pretty much how we feel on that, because past related to events, feeling used as property and tools, past events such as inventions, ideas, and much more. And at the time, we didn't have all the proper rights, so we can pretty much just, make it exclusive for us to really claim, the full, ownership of what we created, because we didn't have the rights at the time. And this goes on for so much more. So when things come up like this, there's, a lot of us relate to what's been happening to the past. And yes, I do understand we should be able to, move on and grow, but the fact of the matter is the past is history. And anytime we see any kind of event like that relates to that, just to be honest and real to the point, it really ticks off a lot of other people. Now, from having a lot of good debatable conversations with a good friend of mine, colleague, going to the other side, when he or she sees this person take a knee during the national anthem, I view it as, okay, this side versus this side, and on their view it can be respect or disrespect. And I can understand where he's coming from on that point of view as well, because the military and much more put their lives on the line to protect our freedoms and much more, to all the privilege that we have in America today. And not only that, the system that has been created has generated, and this is another controversial topic, but it made it possible for the American dream. And I know with that said, there's probably going to be a little controversial off of that, because depending on your perspective, you can see yourself like, yes, this is the American dream place, or no, this is not the American dream place because I see myself still oppressed and not to so many privileges and things like that. Another one is, on their point of view, they believe that with all the grants, government funding programs, and much more, that they have done more than enough to give us the opportunities to rise from the past history events and much more, especially with grants to like schools and other things like that. And that's one other issue to hit on as well. But a lot of our people think that's not enough, so it's always a back and forth clash kind of thing. At the end of the day, when I look at it in my own opinion, you have a right to yours. It all comes to perspective. We're coming from different kind of cultures, so there's always going to be a different view on different things. But the main thing at the end of the day, we got to be able to agree to disagree. Not everybody's going to have the same background. Not everybody's going to have the same outcome. It's okay to be different, but we got to be able to be mature enough to handle these kind of sensitive topics and then, agree to disagree and move on. And that's what I pretty much want to hit on this video. There's going to be, many different perspectives, views, and things like that, and that's perfectly fine. You have the right to have your view. I have the right to have my view. As long as we respect each other, we should be good and fine to go, and then we can move on to the next day. So that's all I want to hit on this episode of Street Topics. Share the video, debate, talk with your friends, have a mature conversation. Let's try to tone it down. Don't be so violent. I know there comes a time and place for things like that, but we can be mature enough and having an intelligent conversation to settle this, like man to man, woman to woman, and man to woman, and much more, so that we can move on and work together in this, blessed thing that we have, this blessed thing that we call life. So make sure you share the video, keep the conversation going, hope that everything goes out well, and much more. And this is this episode of Street Topics, and peace.